Love, yes, love is beautiful. Love is all of those things, but it brings me back to the line in Love Jones. Y'all jumping shit, diving, falling into love. But can somebody please tell me how to state it?
I see your eyes wide and like an ocean when you look at me, so full of my emotions. I'm finding it hard to be here sincerely. I know you feel lost, it's my fault completely. Tell me you love me.
I love you a million percent.
I don't recognize myself in the cold.
Oh, hold up. Let me break it down so it can forever and consistently be broke.
Okay.
All right. Now, when a man gets a hard on, you know where the blood comes from, right?
I love that part.
You know where the blood comes from, right? His brain
And his feet.
and his feet.
True.
So A, he's stupid, and B, he can't run. Only a woman God think of some shit like that.
That's not the end of it. Being in a marriage or in a committed relationship is about being intentional every day and showing how you feel about that person. Love is an action word. Yes, it's a beautiful, lovely feeling, but you gotta show that person, I'm here, I'm committed to being here, I'm gonna show up for you. The worst feeling in the world I've ever had, you asked me like, you know, when did you feel like love wasn't reciprocated?
It could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up with scars. Tell me who I had to be to get so reciprocity.
I got really sick in 2019, and I really don't care if he hears this because I've told it to him to his face. I was sick as a dog. It was around Valentine's Day, and I had already been sick for like a couple of weeks, vomiting. Like just going to the bathroom. I couldn't hold any food down. I couldn't hold water. I couldn't hold no water down. I woke up literally. I'm not exaggerating this. I literally woke up out of my sleep dry heaving. I was so sick. I called my mother. She was like, "That's enough. Go to the emergency room now." Because it had been going on for weeks. I was working, taking KAIDEN to daycare, everything. Living life, like whatever. But every time I ate something, drank a cup of water, I was sick. I went to the hospital. I had a bacterial infection in my stomach. I was having a lupus flare-up, and I had the flu at the same time. All three of those things. I had to be in the hospital for the first time away from my kid for a week. And I don't care how bad your marriage is, your relationship is. If your significant other is sick like that, the least you could do is be there. That's the least. You don't gotta talk to me. Just be there. Or in that particular situation, like I was sick and in a hospital, be with our kid. He left and went on vacation. And that was the lowest of the low for me. I was so hurt. Like, talking about it right now brings me back to that space, and I had no words. I had no words. Like, I would never do that. I would never. I don't care how bad things were ever got. I don't care how bad. What? You just left me. And that was that. My birth father's family, I actually spent a summer investigating my father's murder, because when my biological paternal grandfather passed away, he included me in the estate. Because my father is deceased, I had to prove that I was his child. There is no name for father on my birth certificate. It's only my mother's name on my birth certificate. My mother and I have had a conversation about it during that time I was investigating the murder, because I had to prove that I was this man's child and essentially my grandfather's granddaughter, because my father was deceased. And that was the most difficult experience ever. My aunt, who always claimed me, decided that after 30-something years, I was not her niece. And I had to investigate my dad's murder because it was the only way to get DNA, to do a DNA test to kind of match paternity. That was rough. I was going through so many different things at that time. I was going through, prior to that, I had had a miscarriage, which was extremely rough. And then I was starting fertility treatments. So that was a whole lot going on. And all the while this stuff was happening, I literally had 2 grandparents die in 1 week.
And stop. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Who are you talking to?
Get out. I can do that. Ah!
Not having people acknowledge that gets hard, because you kind of end up in the shadows. And so my nuclear family, the family that I grew up with, I often didn't feel like I fit. And that's hard to say, because they would probably be like, but you're our family, like you're our sister, you're our daughter. My father that has raised me has never treated me any differently than my brother or my sister, but you just feel different. It feels like something is missing, because you want to know all of who you are, where you come from. But he's all in her face, and I'm like, yo, bro, can you get out my sister's face? Because he was doing the most. And then he proceeded to call me, and I don't normally curse on here, but he called me a fat, black, ugly bitch. And so, are you wondering what race he was? Well, he was a black guy, and I honestly was never so offended in all of my life. And in the moment, I laughed it off. But now it's settling on me, and I'm kind of angry. And so there's, a lot of conversations about, do black men protect black women out in public, even if they don't know them? But how can I feel protected by somebody who's attacking me? And so things like that happen, and it makes you uncomfortable. And then proceeded to say, well, I'm a doctor. And what does that mean? That your bedside manner is terrible? I don't think people get how much it actually takes to get involved and become intimate with somebody. Like, I mean, of course, I'm sure everybody wants well, not everybody, let me not say that. But people do smashes, and it's like, this is carnal, whatever, it's over. But those have been some of the worst sexual experiences for me. Like,
really?
Why did I do that? That was a waste of my time.
Well,
I don't technically think of myself as a single parent. I'm his primary parent.
Why?
His dad is ever present physically. His dad is literally always here. He comes over, he helps out, we eat dinner together. A lot of people don't even really know that his dad and I aren't together, because when I'm posting the three of us. And that's on purpose. Like, I don't want Kaiden to ever feel like we don't care about each other or love each other. I do love his dad. I just don't think that our marriage could stand the test of time. And that hurts to even say now, because I never thought that I would get married and get divorced. It brings up so many different feelings. Feeling like a failure, especially because the marriages that I were privy to, people didn't get divorced. That just wasn't something that happened. So it's really hard. And to be a part of a nuclear family and everybody's married and you're the only one who's not in relationship with your child's father, or married anymore, it's really hard. So those moments where holidays come and we're getting together now, like, you know, we took a family vacation and everybody had a spouse and I didn't. And so those things become difficult. Or my niece and my nephew having both of their parents and Kaiden's dad is not there. And so, you know, just trying to remember to create those moments where it can be the three of us doing things together are important. But I never, ever thought that this is where I would be sitting.
I did this sort of goodbye thing. I took him in there and I unwrapped him and I looked at all his toes and looked at all his fingers, and I took off his hat and I rubbed his head. And then I just looked at him and I took it all in. I took it all in, and I wrapped him back up. And I kind of just said goodbye. And I convinced myself, because I truly, surely should have or could have spoken to someone. But I convinced myself that that sort of ritual was my way of cleansing myself at that time, mentally, not emotionally, and trying to say goodbye to our side. But in retrospect,
do you think doing that, do you think at some point in time, like, it will confuse your son? Or do you think he has an idea that mommy and daddy are not together?
We kind of made things clear. So he lived with us on a regular basis. And then at one point he moved out. And so we sat down and we said, you know, mommy and daddy always love you, but dad's not gonna live here. He's gonna. So there were a lot of changes happening all at the same time. It's been hard. I don't know what the future holds for my dating life or his dating life, or how that will work. Even dating is one of those things where I'm like, I'm not bringing a bunch of people. Like, just like I didn't bring people around my parents, I'm not bringing people around my kids.
Like in your
Somewhere you
bedroom?
can come to work out and still get that support that you need.
In the dining room?
At the gym.
Good, give me a cat stretch.
In the park.
Oh,
Yes.
oh my God, that feels amazing.
Where else can we work out? Can we work out at church?
No.
Yes, we can. It's called a Holy Ghost dance.
As if you're in your full squat position.
Right. So, and I honestly have to say, like, I hated dating before I got married. Dating sucked. So I don't necessarily want to go through that again. So I kind of just don't feel like that'll be a whole thing anyway. Whoever I decide to be a person that'll be a permanent fixture is gonna be that person, and like, this is my kid whenever we get to that point. I'm not rushing that. It's too fresh as far as us moving on from each other. And I think there's been enough changes in the last 2 years because of what life has handed us as a people, as a community, as a country, as a city, state, pick a thing. We've gone through a lot of changes. So I'm not trying to thrust any more changes on my kid. So yeah, I think he will understand. And I think he already gets it, like, we're not together. Like, he makes jokes like, Daddy's got a girlfriend. I'm just like, oh, you got a girlfriend, huh? You know, but I think that he knows it's just me and him for the most part, you know? And that's okay. And that families are different. Every family's not the same. So... But I'm sure as he gets older and he begins to understand things in a different way, you gotta keep it age appropriate. So when he gets there, then we can have a conversation about that. But he's seen pictures of us from our wedding, and yeah, I've said to him, like, we were married, but we're not gonna be anymore. And I never use the D word, because how do you explain that to a 6-year-old?
I'm saying it's just that all y'all running around here jumping and hopping, skipping, diving, falling in love and shit. Falling in love ain't shit. Somebody talk to me, please, about how to stay there.
Verkeya speaks. What is love?
Love is family. Love is community. Love is taking the best care of yourself so you can show up for family and community. If I'm not okay, I can't do the things that I need to do for Verkeya Speaks, to get the next novel out, to make sure my son gets to all that he needs to do, even to the basic things like making him dinner or lunch or going outside for ice cream. Everybody, it's Kia and
the K.
Well, you gotta slow down so they can hear you clearly. Jesus, let's try that again. Good morning, everybody. It's Kia and
the K.
And today is
my birthday.
And how old are you?
I'm 6.
You're 6? That's exciting. Love is all of those things, but love is God for me. Like, knowing that God loves me, I can show it to other people. Yeah. That's a hard question. So many different things. Love is hard. Having fun. Like, life is one thing we've learned through this bit, life is too damn short, right? Like, you gotta have fun. You gotta make the most of it. Like, brunch is love to me. I love food. I am a foodie. Like, my Aunt Tina is like, I don't know. She's got those grandma feels going on. And so I appreciate that. I mean, I think we're so super alike, but when I think about her, it just brings me back to who my grandmother was and all those things.
And rivers enough to cross, enough to